Hello, welcome back to the Social Media Super Success Plan, and it is time for module number 9. So I hope all your actions have been going really well. Let me know how you got on in the Facebook group with your engagement actions. And in module 9, we're going to be talking about measuring success, which is super important, if not as exciting as doing some of the other stuff. So let us kick off. So measurement, why should we bother? Well, first of all, you need to know whether you're hitting those objectives and key performance indicators that you've set out in your strategy. You know, if you want brand awareness, are you getting it? If you want web traffic, are you getting it? If you want sales, are people buying from you? You need to know whether you're actually achieving the success you set out to achieve. So I do recommend keeping a monthly log. I think monthly is a really achievable kind of time frame to look back over the month and see how you've performed on social media and where you can make improvements for the month ahead. So definitely keep some form of monthly log and do whatever works for you. Some people like pen and paper and a notebook. Some people like to do it through, specific online tools, and we'll mention a few of them at the end. And some people just like a good old, nice, simple spreadsheet. So I'm going to show you a quick example of a spreadsheet that you could be using. And what I will do actually is I will stick this spreadsheet in the documents, stick this template in the documents of the group so that you've got access to it. So obviously this template is super simplified. It's not kind of a high level spreadsheet or anything. And what it highlights is, the different platforms you're using, things like number of followers, number of mentions, tweet impressions, and so on. So different kind of metrics you might want to measure on those platforms. If you create videos, you might want to add things like video views in there. If you do advertising, you might want to add advertising stuff in there. If people can buy from you directly, you might want to add in things like conversions as well. But this at a simple level is just a look at how many people are following you, how many people are responding to your content. And you can see I've got the months of the year and the difference between each month as well. So you scroll along there, you can see that in action. So I've kind of got this frozen so I can just scroll along. So that's as simple as it needs to be, just to help you keep a monthly track of where you're going. Calculate the difference, give yourself a red if it's bad and a green if it's positive, because then you can see how you're improving month by month, particularly when you've set out KPIs that you want to achieve. So for each platform, looking at things like followers, likes, mentions, shares, retweets, clicks, and then also maybe leads and sales that you're probably going to have to go to a little bit more effort to track. All of the others you can have easy access to by just going to the platform analytics and having a look at those. Whereas with the likes of leads, you're going to have a tracking system to see where your leads are coming from, and then also any sales as well. Now, tracking sales can be quite easy to do if you sell online, because you can usually track through your Google Analytics, whether people are coming from social media to then make the purchase. However, if you don't sell online, then sometimes that tracking can be quite difficult. So you need to try and think of ways that you are able to track. Are you able to ask people where they heard from you, for example? Maybe you can give offers that are only available on social media, so you know that people claiming those offers have come through social media. However, you do need to be aware that a lot of people will buy from you, and it will be as a result of social media, and unfortunately you won't be able to track that relationship. For example, if someone's been following you on Twitter for years and thinks you're amazing and loves what your business does, then goes on your website and picks up the phone, and you say, "Oh, where did you hear about us?" They'll be like, "Oh, I've heard of you for years, but yeah, I was looking at your website." They might not say, "Because I follow you on Twitter." So even asking people doesn't always lead to actually knowing. So that's why kind of tracking things like followers and engagement and clicks, it just means you've got a little bit more of an understanding of whether people are interested in what you've got to say or not. So in terms of where to actually go to measure, each of the platforms has some kind of way of tracking these different things. And what I will do is I'll jump across and show you some of these. I'm not going to show you Instagram. It's a little bit more difficult because it's on mobile. So if you have a business account on Instagram, you can access the business account analytics. Of course, if you're using Pinterest, that has analytics. YouTube has analytics. You know, I'm not going to go through everything, but I thought I would just quickly show you where you can access the main platform analytics. So on Facebook, if you click the Insights tab, then you will have access to your page insights. Hopefully all your numbers will be green and not red like mine. This is for the last 7 days. Unfortunately, a few of my things have gone down. But yeah, never mind. That does sometimes happen. You can change that to, you know, the last 28 days, and you can export this data as well. And then you've got all these options down the side here. So you can start to look through kind of individual things. For example, you might want to look at posts and see how your posts are performing to see, you know, what kind of posts have been working for people that month, what posts haven't worked for people that month. You can look at things like people to see, you know, who it actually is that you're attracting to your page. So make sure you have a look through all of this and see what you want to track on the back of it. On Twitter, if you go over to your profile picture at the top here and then click on analytics, then that will take you through to your analytics. So then on your analytics account, again, you've got an overview and then you've got highlights of each month. So you can kind of see all the numbers for each month, which is really handy for plugging into your spreadsheet. You can also then view all activity for tweets for that month. So again, you can start to look through and get these kind of numbers. What was the engagement rate? How many link clicks did you get? Retweets, likes, replies, and so on. So, you know, it's giving you that access instantly to the data you need. On LinkedIn, you've got a few options. So first of all, in terms of analytics, you can go to who's viewed your profile. And you can look at, you know, more and more people viewing your profile. Actually, mine's down 61% since last week. I picked the wrong week, didn't I, to show you my analytics. But, you know, you can keep track of that number. I can also click through from my posts to post activity and look at, you know, how my different posts are performing. I do a lot of videos on LinkedIn. If I click on that, I can see kind of, you know, who's been looking at it, different people and different areas that they're looking at it at. Most of my views came from second degree network rather than first. That just reiterates how important that second degree network is. So you can have a look at that as well. Otherwise, there isn't a great deal of analytics around your personal LinkedIn account. However, you can do something called your social selling index, your LinkedIn SSI, and I've included a link to this on the slide. So when we jump back over to the slides, make sure you jot it down. So your SSI is your social selling index, which, as it says here, measures how effective you are at establishing your professional brand, finding the right people, engaging with insights, and building relationships. So you can see mine is 83 out of 100, which puts me in the top 1% for my industry and top 1% of my network as well, which is good. But again, there's areas for me to improve. So my professional brand is pretty great. You know, my building relationships is good. However, engaging with insights and finding the right people could be somewhat improved. So that's something that I can be working on. So that's your SSI. And then also you can look at your company page analytics at the top here. So you've got the option of visitors, updates, or followers. So I've gone for updates, and I can have a look through kind of, you know, how my updates are performing on my company page. Now, typically I do find I get far less activity on my company page than I do on my personal profile. I'm just a massive believer in the power of the personal profile when it comes to LinkedIn. So don't get too disheartened if some of these numbers are pretty low, because, you know, the majority of people are more interested in people on LinkedIn than they are in businesses. So you can see there's the LinkedIn SSI score link. So it's linkedin.com/sales/SSI. But all of those will give you some nice analytics to plug into your spreadsheet without you having to go through counting. Also, your Google Analytics is going to be really important for this as well. So Google Analytics is a completely free to use tool. If you don't use it currently for your website, then definitely sign up for it. When you sign up, you'll be given a piece of code to put on the back end of your website that will then be able to track all the traffic and goings on your website, which is really, really handy. On the side panel on here, there is a tab called Acquisition, and one of the options there is Social. So you can see where people have come from social media to your website. You can then also click through those. So I could click on Facebook there and I could see which pages they went to and, get even deeper insight, how long they spent on the site, which is really important because there's no use having kind of 62 people come to your site, but the average length of stay is 3 seconds. They're not even looking at your site. So, how long they're staying on there. So yeah, definitely you need to be using your Google Analytics to actually see how much traffic you are generating from social media. And another thing you can do on Google Analytics is set up conversions. So if, for example, you do sell online, then you can track how many people purchase through social media. So if once someone has purchased, they go through to a thank you page, then that would be the conversion. You know that if they land on that page, they've got to have bought something from you. And so, you can see then how many sales you've made through social media. Similarly, you can also track leads through the conversions side of Google Analytics, because you can then look at, you could say, all right, if someone downloads my PDF, they then go to a thank you page again. So that thank you page URL is, I know that each visit there is a lead I've got through social media. So, you can again go to Facebook, you can then go to that page, you can see how many people actually access that page. So it is quite a useful way of also tracking actual, leads and sales and the back end impact. So other measurement tools that are available to you, Hootsuite and Buffer we talked about when it came to scheduling content, but they're also really good for giving you some analytics around link clicks and around engagement as well. And I'll show you this on Buffer. So I'm on my LinkedIn on my Buffer account. To be honest, most of my LinkedIn activity is videos that I post directly from my phone. So this is only going to give me analytics for things I've posted through Buffer, as opposed to, just everything I've posted on LinkedIn, but it's really handy because you don't get this sort of level of, this level of statistics on LinkedIn itself. So I can look through each individual post and see kind of what's generating the most likes and comments and people doing stuff with, and what's not working for people. So that's super handy as well. And that sits in the Analytics tab at the top. So once you've chosen your platform you want to look at, you just click on the Analytics tab. And beyond that, there are so many measurement tools out there. There's a crazy amount of measurement tools, to be honest. There are new ones coming out all the time. So it can be quite difficult to keep up with all the different measurement tools that are available to you. So just try if you can to kind of, keep your head in the game as to anything new that could work well for your business. One that I would definitely recommend is Sprout Social. There is a free trial, so sign up for the free trial to have a play around with it and see what you can get from it. Then there's different kind of payment packages. Currently it's at $99 a month. So if you are really looking to track sort of high level statistics around your social media activity, then look at Sprout Social. And Social Bakers is another one that does similar kind of reports around your social media activity, and that's around $120 a month. So those are a couple of other measurement tools that are available to you, who will do all the reporting and analysis for you without you having to go through each platform and pick out the analytics. So I wanted to finish up by talking about return on investment. And it's not always easy to calculate. However, if you can, then this is the formula in which to do so. So it's income minus the investment divided by the investment times 100%. So for example, if we said that you had, let's say you've earned £10,000 through social media and you spent 2,000. So that's 10,000 minus 2,000 is 8,000. Dividing it by that 2,000 gives you 4 times 100%, gives you a return on investment of 400%. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Income minus investment divided by the investment times 100%. And that is your return on investment. So you will need to know, obviously, what you make and what you spent. As I said before, this is far easier if you already sell online, because you should be able to literally track what comes in from social media. Much harder to work out if you don't sell online. However, if you try and put some tracking in place, or at the very least if you run some kind of offer campaign and that offer is only available on certain social media platforms, and that maybe you then invest some advertising to promote that offer, then you can kind of see, right, well, this many people claimed the offer, they spent £50, there was 10 of them, therefore we made 500 quid, and we spent 100 quid on advertising. So you can do it that way round. But yeah, it's not always an easy formula for a lot of businesses. The other thing you probably want to consider as well is the lifetime value of a customer, because it's not just what they spend there and then, it's what they're going to spend in the future as well with you. So what is their lifetime value? And to do that, you'll have to figure out what the average lifetime value of your current customers are. So, what is the average overall lifetime spend of a customer? Because then you're not just looking at, let's say, for example, you've promoted something that's £5, but you know that the lifetime value of a customer is £500. That's a big difference. So you can kind of work out if the average over the lifetime is £500, then actually you might not have made £5, you've technically made £500 because you've brought a new customer into the business who's going to spend money in the future. So you could also work that out as well. So, incorporate that into your workings out. So you've kind of got two options there. You've kind of got the lifetime return on investment and the instant return on investment. Tracking links help a lot with this. So on Google, you can set up Google tracking links that link with your Google Analytics, that you can use tracking links for specific campaigns. So if you're running, let's say, an offer campaign, then you will know that it is when people have clicked on that particular link around that campaign on social media that they've come through to, your website. You can also measure from leads captured as well. So you could start to analyse how many of your leads convert into customers. So if you kind of worked out that for every 100 leads you get into the business, 5 become customers, then you will then know your lifetime value of a customer is £500. Therefore, for every 100 leads, you typically generate around, trying to very quickly do the maths in my head, it's easy maths as well, £2,500 per customer. So per 100 leads, you are generating £12,500 worth of business lifetime for the business. Does that make sense? I hope so. This is the stuff that is a little bit confusing for me as well. But the idea is that you try to work out how many of your leads actually convert into customers. And then if you know the lifetime value of a customer, then you can work out if we're generating X number of leads, then it's likely to lead to X amount of income over the lifetime of that person being a customer. Okay, that makes sense, hopefully. So yeah, you will need to obviously for this work out how many leads do actually convert. And these are all useful numbers to know anyway in your business, because they're not just useful for social media, but all other forms of marketing as well. So it's time for your actions again. So for your actions for Module 9, I want you to create a spreadsheet to update on your social media progress month by month if it's relevant to you, or create a book that you write it all down in, or some kind of system. Anyway, have a system in place to know how you're improving on social media. Then make sure you're analysing where things might not be working and how you can improve them. So maybe you kind of look back at the last 3 months if you've not done any measurement before, look at what's not working and figure out how to make improvements on that. So you don't have to wait until you've gathered data. You can go back in time because you can look back through your previous analytics on the platforms. And I want you to set yourself achievable targets for each month to measure against. So if, for example, you see a drop in Twitter followers, then set yourself the target to, right, well, this month we're going to aim to add 50 new Twitter followers on. Because you can see, we've experienced a drop, let's see how we can improve going forward. So those are your actions for Module 9, and I will see you in Module 10, which is a meaty one because it's all about the paid side of social media advertising. I will see you for Module 10. Good luck on the measurement side of things, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.